Hi, I'm Lydia Buchtmann. I'm Communication Director for the Food Safety Information Council, and we're very excited to take part in this, talking about glass and food safety a little bit more. The history of glass in Australia is very interesting. A lot of people don't know that First Nations Australians used glass. There's some beautiful obsidian spearheads that are many thousands of years old that have been used. And obsidian is volcanic glass. It was very sharp and very effective and a great way of getting your dinner. And Tasmania, there's 2,700-year-old spearheads made out of what's called Darwin glass, which is volcanic glass also, and closer to the glass we're more used to. But generally, humans in Europe invented glass in Mesopotamia about 3,500 BC. But it was very expensive. I mean, with the Romans and right through history, it was something for the rich folk to use. It wasn't something for the everyday people who tended to use pottery as a safe container for food and drink. But by the mid-19th century, there was more industrial glass out there, apart from a short spell when they were using lead in the glass too, which wasn't exactly food safe. But by the mid to late 19th century, preserving food became popular, and preservation jars, a very famous one by Mr. Mason, who was American, who invented it. Kilner jars, you might know that brand too, and of course our very own Aussie Fowler jars, which people used for food preservation. Now, of course, in the 19th century, it was very important, with freezers or fridges not around, that you had enough food throughout the winter and you could preserve that food. So one of the ways of doing that was bottling all your surplus fruit and veggies, making pickles, using various fermented foods, as has been mentioned before, like sauerkraut, kimchi, that would last over winter and stopping you getting scurvy and such. But those trendy new glass jars could be heated. They had lids and they had proper rubber seals, so you could actually vacuum store in a canning process too. And of course, they could be washed out and reusable each year. So even today, that's very popular to do. It's nothing more satisfying than getting all your surplus fruit and veggies, or picking it up when it's cheaper, particularly with the price of fruit and veggies at the moment. If you've got some surplus when things are in season, it's good to bottle them and preserve them. We do stress to to follow the instructions very carefully, because things can go wrong. And never ever try and preserve meat. It's far too risky to do that. That's something that should only be done commercially, to buy it in the shops. Veggies is reasonably safe. Do follow recipes carefully, and particularly have a look at overseas recipes, because in some cases, firstly, tablespoons and measures are slightly different to we have in Australia. And secondly, the strength of vinegars and so forth, if you are pickling things, is slightly different between America and here. So you need to be aware and just follow Australian recipes for what you can get available here. But overall, glass is just fabulous. It has lots of advantages. It's clean. In fact, look in your pantry, there's lots and lots of glass products there that are sealed and easy to use. And the advantage, of course, is it's easy to clean glass and keep it clean. And of course, you can recycle it and use it over and over again. So it's not wasting, reusing plastic. Though at the same time, if you don't have time, and many of us don't, to do your home preservation of your lovely fruit and veg and doing some pickling and make some kimchi, nice to do it occasionally. But don't forget, your freezer is also your friend. You can cook up leftovers, put it all together into casseroles or soups or stews. As soon as that stops steaming after you've cooked it, divide it into small containers. And they can be glass or plastic if you only have those. Quite small size, normally about the size of a plastic takeaway containers. Pop that in the fridge as soon as it stops steaming, or pop it in the freezer straight away. If you're freezing it, put a little label on it so you know how old it is, and do circulate it. Put the newer stuff at the bottom of a chest freezer or at the back of a fridge freezer. So you use the oldest first. And that's also a really easy way to hang on to your food. But you can also use the newer glass containers for that, which are quite nice and once again quite easy to clean. So so use your glass. It's a great way of storing your food and keeping it safe. And it's always an advantage this National Science Week.